Hey everyone, this is Dirk at DPG Off-Road, and we're going to talk today about a low buck off-road exhaust mod that we've been doing to our Jeeps for many years. This is a modification you can do to any 4x4 to improve the ground clearance for off-road use only. Now, there's a lot of aftermarket systems out there that you can put on a variety of vehicles for exhaust modifications. There are catback systems and all sorts of stuff, different mufflers and converting a single to a dual exhaust. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Some guys on their Jeep vehicles want a louder exhaust note for a rumble, or a dual exhaust for sound or for more power. For me personally, I don't know, I'm getting old I suppose, but more power isn't what I'm looking for. If I want an exhaust rumble, my Jeep 6-cylinder motor really isn't the candidate that I really want to hear more loudly. I just as soon keep it quieter. So what we're doing here is an exhaust mod that is specifically for more ground clearance for off-road use only. We have seen over the years, and if you've been off-road in a Jeep or a Toyota or any other vehicle, a lot of times it doesn't take much on the trail to crush or bend or tweak your tailpipe on your vehicle. They hang down a little bit lower, and I think the reason that the factory does that, well, there are several reasons. They're mass produced, so they need an exhaust that fits a lot of vehicles that can go on. There's no danger of fitment issues or being too close or too tight to anything. And also though, one of the bigger reasons I found is after doing this mod on multiple vehicles, when the exhaust tip is hanging way down here like this, it just gets that exit further away from the body, and it's actually quieter. So they, the engineers think about those things, they design that into that vehicle. But when we want to go on the trail, that is not optimum. That's hanging way down low. If that hitch wasn't there, that is really susceptible to getting bent or bashed or crushed on the trail. So we want to move that up a lot higher. One classic example, there was a guy at a local off-road park a couple hours from here, and in a Jeep, I believe it was an older CJ, just doing a creek crossing, stream crossing, came up, and it was very cold out. The creek was frozen, there was ice, and he went in it, broke it up. He was trying to climb out the other side, and he slid back down, caught the exhaust, and folded it under the Jeep. So now he's sitting like this in the creek, and the back of the Jeep and the exhaust is folded shut. So now the engine won't run, the Jeep won't start, and he's got to go down there and try to open this exhaust up somehow in a creek full of ice water, and it was a bad day for him. So for us personally, I've decided in all of our Jeeps, if they're ever going to go off-road, again, this is one of those mods that's generally under $100. We've been doing this for any of our rigs that see trail use. We've done it on all of them. There are some people that have exhaust issues. Some of them are rusty, and the old saying, give a hillbilly a welder, is true here. I've seen guys that just go and take the whole tailpipe completely out of the vehicle, or go back in front of the muffler and just they go buy a chrome bolt-on, clamp-on, turn down, and run that under the vehicle. You can do that, of course, if you want to. What I don't like about that is when the exhaust turns down underneath the vehicle, it's a lot louder. There's a lot of droning resonance sound in the cab of the vehicle. Of course, if it's dropping right underneath, there's fumes, or exhaust fumes can come all up in the vehicle. Just nothing good about that as far as I'm concerned. Not the way I would prefer to do it on any of my stuff. So we're going to show you what we've done. Again, this still has a factory tailpipe on it. We're going to compare this to my XJ that we've had a mod done in on our JK as well. Kind of show you the difference of how we do this. Okay, before we go to my Jeep, I want to point out this on factory exhaust. What we would normally do is just go in forward on the factory exhaust pipe and cut that off. This tailpipe hangs way down, it's well below and shoots well past the leaf spring underneath. We want to tuck that up there quite a bit more. So again, any good muffler shop can cut this off just after the bend and then refabricate a new tailpipe that instead of shooting down so low, they'll weld on a new piece. Instead of coming straight back, we're going to have it underneath the vehicle bending up and coming back and then dumping down. Instead of exiting here, we're going to exit much higher up and be protected up here by a hitch, leaf spring, shackle, and so on. Gas tank skid, depending on how your Jeep's configured. We've got a lot more protection for that exhaust, and there's a lot of room up here to do that. And again, any good muffler shop can refabricate a hanger real quickly and inexpensively and just move that exhaust and tuck it up much tighter. We're still evacuating all our exhaust gases out from under the vehicle, but we're not leaving the tailpipe susceptible. We've got a lot more ground clearance there to work with. Again, if you notice where this tailpipe is shooting out, the leaf spring is coming up. This is a stock length shackle, and it's well below the leaf spring and then down. And we're gonna see on mine how the exhaust is tucked up much higher and much tighter. Okay, so we're on my Jeep here. Normally on this Jeep, we would have just cut the tailpipe there and made a new section. In this case, my tailpipe was rusted out, so I had Rocky at Bill's American Muffler just fab up a whole new exhaust tailpipe from the muffler back. But the idea here is, again, where the other one you saw, it was shooting out way down here. We've got a lot of room up here. We've got either your heat shield or your gas tank skid. Plenty of room. There's nothing that exhaust is too close to. They just fabbed up a new exhaust hanger for the rear. Now this exhaust is tucked way up tighter, so you can see if we roll off that leaf spring or the gas tank skid going off of obstacles, that exhaust is protected. It's not down there in harm's way like the factory one is, because those are a lot easier to tag, or even backing up to plug it full of mud. It's a lot easier than a lot of people think it is. So we have a lot more clearance on that tailpipe. If there is any one downside to this, I would say it's this. When we route that tailpipe up real tight, even though it's exiting the vehicle, all the exhaust is leaving the vehicle. Under acceleration, there's a little bit more noise in the cab with that exhaust mod done like that. If I'm at cruising speeds, cruising along, I don't notice it, but when I accelerate a little more aggressively, I can hear that in the cab a little bit more than if it was way down here. As far as I'm concerned, great trade-off for the ground clearance needed. I'll take that all day long. So here we have some shots of the JK before with the factory exhaust tailpipe where it hangs down from the factory, and that's contrasted next to an after when the modification was done. And now here we have Rocky at Bill's American Muffler going through the process of updating this tailpipe. So very simple. The first part, you just simply cut it off with a Sawzall. This is where you need a good muffler shop, and Rocky fabbed up a whole new tailpipe, bent and fitted specifically for the application. Here you see him welding the new tailpipe on, and you can see a much higher clearance. So we have before and after from the back. You can see these shots, and then we have before and after from the side, and the ground clearance increase is substantial. I was backing up in the JK here a while back, just out behind my shop, and plugged the hitch full of mud. If the exhaust pipe had been hanging down there, it's just too easy to get that hung up. Okay guys, so again, any 4x4 Toyota, Jeep, or any off-road vehicle that you're concerned about this with, you could do this mod on. Again, that's why this is not a do-it-yourself mod in my opinion. I like to have a good muffler shop with guys that know how to bend pipe, that do it all day long, and can do that correctly. The fit of that exhaust system, we like it in there, and sometimes you don't have a lot of room, so we want it to fit tightly up in there, but not too close where it's rattling up against a shackle, a leaf spring, a control arm, or whatever, and making noise. But we also don't want that exhaust routed near anywhere that heat could be a factor and cause damage or other issues from the heat. So it needs to be routed correctly. A good muffler shop you can work with and figure that out. Hopefully that helps. From Dirk at DPG Off-Road, thanks for watching. God bless America, and we'll see you next time.